not so nice day to have an indoor
There
meeting.
you go.
Here
Last
comes
couple of
Dylan.
days have been rough.
Here comes Dylan.
Dylan's coming, Jim.
Okay, you're all set, Margaret.
Okay, thank you. This is the regular meeting of the Waterville Valley Board of Selectmen, Wednesday, September 22nd, 3 p.m. Downstairs meeting room at Town Hall. And also the public can watch this meeting live on the town's YouTube channel. And of course, if you're not live, you can go see it later on. So calling the meeting to order at 3, privilege of the floor. I see we have some guests, so I think you're a little further down the
Yeah,
agenda.
Steve,
We'll
it's
go
down.
ahead and cover the Renewable Energy Committee update.
Yeah, the committee members couldn't be here today, but they have been working, as I wrote in my memo, on several different initiatives. Things like energy efficiency improvements, not just to town buildings, but also trying to figure out how to get them more town-wide. Alternative energy. There's been recent legislation in community power opportunities, so towns can actually band together private properties within the community under the umbrella of the town and provide combined power. So you go out and put it out to bid to power suppliers as a single entity rather than every single person doing that on their own.
Do we have
Those are-
option in power suppliers?
We do. There,
Like who besides the co-op will
the
give us-
actual energy providers, there are many different options that you can
Besides
actually
the
put it out
electric
to
co-op?
bid.
Besides the co-op?
Besides co-op. And actually the co-op, and the town does that. We put it out to bid every November. And we get bids in per kilowatt hour and we can select the low bidder and the co-op doesn't care.
Right.
But the co-op does bring it in. They get the management fee for bringing, they own the lines that bring the electricity.
Well, yes, they get all of the hardware payment is still.
So
made
we're
to
still
the
paying
co-op.
them.
We're still paying them for the hardware. It's just the energy supplier
Yeah.
that you can get a lower per kilowatt hour
Yeah.
rate. And now, because of changes in state law, towns can actually bring all of their private residents together and do that together as a single
Yeah.
entity.
Mhm.
So that the Energy Committee's been looking at how that works. I have some documents that I'll share with you. I'll send them out electronically.
Mhm.
I'd like you to look at them between now and the October 13th meeting, because they didn't expect a decision today on this from
Okay.
you.
Mhm.
But I'll be sending that out, and if you have any questions or whatever, just let me know, and either myself or Kim or one of the other committee members can talk to you about it.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds great.
so.
Yeah. All righty. Does that cover what you were here for? Or are you here for something else as well?
Did you not want to show the docs that Kim sent?
No, I'm gonna just send them to them electronically and then let them look through them, and we'll get back to them.
Okay,
If
Okay,
that should do it.
they're just-
Alrighty.
they're pretty complicated, and I just didn't want to get into a whole lot of detail today.
okay. Great. Financial reports.
Yep.
We got one of those.
No significant changes to the report. The only thing was we did modify the miscellaneous revenue proposed budget number. I had left off one of the line items when I totaled it up, and Judy corrected that. So you'll see that that's now percent collected 45.5%. But of that 55,000, we have a significant payment coming from the health trust on a reimbursement of premium that we'll be receiving in November. So that is tracking to be 100% collected by the end of the year.
Okay,
All right, I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
If that's all right.
yeah, go
All
for it.
right, On our line here, debt service interest, we're at 100.81%.
Yeah,
The question is, did we are these our adjusted numbers from the new MS form we did?
434, those are all under revenues.
So there are
There
no
was
adjustments
nothing
on
expenses.
expenses. So will we need to adjust that
Yes.
number? Because we're off.
I left off an interest payment, so that will be overspent at the end of the year.
All right, but was that in the initial budgeting we left off? On
Yes, I
interest payment?
did.
Okay, we'll fix that. And do we know how much that is?
I don't remember right off
Okay.
the top of my head.
All right, and the other one is we're going to get to that topic today. Our reevaluation of property.
Yeah.
We had 18.8 in there
Mhm.
and we spent 43. And I assume the 43 was on abatements and just the regular basis. of
Yes,
the
on
contract.
the regular
All right.
building permit pickups and abatements.
Okay, so
Also, go ahead.
so the 14.4, how much do you think we're going to wind up with at the end of the year?
Not
that one.
much, because there are contracts for our assessing software and for our map maintenance.
Yeah.
That are included that haven't been paid.
Okay,
And they won't get paid until the end of the year.
all right, good, I'm done.
Anything, Rich?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Minutes review and approval. We all had a chance to take a look at the September 13th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. And then, Rich, I think you submitted some adjustments, which Sharon included. Any other adjustments to the minutes? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the September 13th, 2021
Minutes
Minutes.
as amended, I so move.
second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we want to jump down and do the assessing portion? Okay,
Steve
okay.
Hamilton is here from Whitney Consulting, and he can talk, come on up.
And your name is, sir?
Steve Hamilton.
Steve Hamilton. Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
you.
Hi, Steve,
It's
I'm
good
Mike.
to meet you all, Mike.
Margaret.
Margaret,
Rich.
Rich. It's been a few years since I've been here.
Okay.
But I'm happy to be here again.
Have you been our group consistently? Or are you back again?
So we provide services now
Okay.
for the regular maintenance of.
Right, now, my question was, have
This
you,
is their first year.
This is
with
your
us.
first year, but you were-
First full year with
but
us.
were you with another firm before that provided us services or,
No,
okay?
no.
So you're back here as your first time as an assessor,
As-
providing services for us.
I think I may have been introduced.
Maybe
At the beginning.
When we first hired him,
Oh, okay, I'm just wondering if you had any past experience here with
he
another
was
company.
with DRA, so he
Oh,
has a
oh,
lot of
Department of Revenue.
experience.
Yeah, were you here for our meetings a few years ago?
I've been here many times. from-
No, but I mean the meetings we had a few years ago.
Yes,
I
Okay,
think
cool.
I may have-
Just wanted to see where you are as far as knowing our specific issues.
Yep, and just for background, I was the director of the Municipal and Property Division for a little bit over 10 years. I left that position just about 3 years ago now and started Whitney Consulting Group, where I have 4 other associates with me. And we provide contracted assessing services to Waterville Valley and 10 and soon to be 11 other communities in the state. We only do assessing work within the state of New Hampshire. Some of our other clients include the town of Moultonborough, where we complete a valuation update every year. The town of Alton, we're doing a revaluation this year. The city of Laconia, we do
Right.
regular assessing work for them. And the towns of Derry and Londonderry.
Are we your smallest community?
No,
Okay.
no.
No,
Actually,
that's-
that's a great question. My smallest community is Hales Location. You may be familiar with that.
Yeah.
Are they related to Hart's location or is it?
No, it's a different place altogether. Hales Location has a relationship with a golf course, much like the relationship that Waterville Valley has with the ski area.
And which
so-
golf course is that?
Yeah, I think it's, I'm gonna get it wrong. It's gonna be the Country Club of New England or something like that.
Okay.
But Now I'll be getting an email, I'm sure, from them, wanting to know why I can't remember.
And I'm
the
sure
name
they're
of it.
all watching.
They are riveted, I'm sure, to their computers.
Is Hale's location the area just below the White Mountain Hotel?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I
So-
know which golf course
Yeah,
it is.
it
Which
Yeah.
one is
is,
that,
if you're in, if you're
You
in,
don't know the White Mountain Hotel? Lenny played there for so long.
But
that
what
I've
is
been
it
there.
called, the White Mountain Hotel?
Yes, yes, and it's in Conway or North Conway.
So if
and-
you're
and
in
it's up on a
Conway,
So
hill.
it could be
and-
Country Club of North Conway.
well,
Yeah.
No, it's the
No.
one on
Whatever, I'm
16
sorry.
as you go.
Sorry
Yeah.
to take this off on a tangent, but it
Yeah,
seems to be going
yeah.
further and further away.
Yeah.
but no, if you're in Conway and you look across a Cathedral Ledge,
Yes, a
At
lot
the
of
bottom
climbers go
of
up there.
Cathedral
It's
Ledge.
right by the
I'm
hotel.
back in the
Hale's
conversation.
Yeah.
and Waterville Valley is about 10 times the size, because they have about 140 homes in the community.
Mhm.
But you understand the specific issues we have here, which are unique to us. And when you were filling out those names, that we're all big towns.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
So-
great to meet you. Hopefully, I'm sure I'll be talking with you, because I'm one of the realtors in town.
And I expect that we will be
Well,
talking.
that was a disappointment we had with the last firm, that the last one was done without any input from any of the realtors.
Hmm.
And it took a
Probably
while.
one of the reasons they're not with us anymore.
Well, it's not just that, it's just the thing was so far off.
Right,
It had no basis.
yeah.
So the purpose for having Steve here is we wanted to make sure that as we're putting together the proposal, and he's gonna put it together.
Yeah.
To make sure that you have some input into exactly what type of services we're looking for in fiscal year 22,
Mhm.
because it is our year to do a revaluation.
A full one.
A full reval, and that's part of what we want to talk about,
Mhm.
because as we were discussing earlier, we haven't done a full measure list here for many years. So I think our last true reval, where we did measuring and listing was, I believe, 2006.
What's
we
what's
did
the state
updates.
requirement in terms of doing a full review?
Well,
There's a difference with what Mark's talking
Yes.
about between
So
the full reval
That's
and
right,
measuring and
and
listing.
so measuring and listing is where that you go into every property, as opposed to a statistical update where you look at the sales data and adjust all values in the community
Mhm.
and adjust the ratio
Right,
percentage,
Right.
right? So we're looking for guidance from you
Right.
on what approach you would like Steve to propose
Right.
for the full reval in 2022.
A couple of questions I'd have initially.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting, well, first of all, due to COVID, are you getting pushback with having people open their homes to you? Which is a big issue anyways, where people don't want people in their homes on a good year. But
Yeah.
due to COVID, is that affecting you more?
So there's good and bad in this whole thing, because all of my team members are fully vaccinated. We're respectful when we enter somebody's property. There are typically more people home now,
Right.
because a lot of people no longer go to the office to work, they're working from home. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
And are you getting a reluctance of people to let you in just based on the way the world is now? Because people just don't want to be intruded on. They don't want to have their house clean, and they don't want big government in their houses looking at stuff. Is that an issue?
That hasn't really become much of an issue. It's not much different than I mean, this is New Hampshire after all, and so the desire to have government stay out of people's business is not a new development
Right.
here. So that's something that we've been accustomed to. For a
Right,
while.
but the question I'm having is, do you think in a town, because knowing the specifics to this town, do you think you're going to be able to get into enough properties to get a really, really fair view of where we are? Or are we going to be where we are in the past, where the people that are going to let you in will let you in, but the majority won't let you in?
So we're going to get into a lot of properties. Many of the properties are managed by a few companies that
Oh, no, I get
that
that.
will be
that
able
part of it.
to rely on to
But they
help us
work
to get.
more, they work more with the property
Right,
management
but
than
don't
the
the
previous
property,
companies.
but don't the property managers need permission from the
Oh, they-
owners to let
Yes,
them
we
in?
will, absolutely,
Yeah.
but that's one thing though that.
Yeah.
We're
And we'll
hoping
be-
we can get
We'll
more.
be reaching out early to
Yeah.
them so that they can help people to understand the benefit of doing that. One thing which is slightly intangible, beyond making sure that the measurements are correct and the
Right.
deck is the right size and the renovations are understood and integrated into the software, is the credibility of the estimate. By looking at the properties, we have a higher chance of having an accepted and credible result, where the perception will be, or could be, that if we haven't seen a property
Right.
since 2006, it's going to be difficult to argue that we're going to have an accurate valuation.
Now, is there also a cross-check between property condition and permits on file with the town?
Absolutely,
Okay,
100%. And, you know, we won't just rely on the physical nature of the property. We also will be checking with multiple listing records. and
right, no,
local
I-
realtors so
I've got you on that.
we
The concern I have is the person who did a whole bunch of work and never had the permits done.
Yeah,
Not
talked
wanting,
about
not wanting to let us into their house. And therefore, they skate on 90 different reasons, because first of all, we don't know the condition.
Yeah.
So they're not raised because of the renovations, and they've never paid for the renovations.
So the only two reasons, and we would not go directly to anybody other than Mark in, you know, in a situation like that. If we observe something that appeared to be a safety issue or a potential life safety issue, then we'd report it immediately. If we saw something that was the addition of another living unit, we'd go directly to Mark, and then the town can work through those processes. But if somebody goes in and tiles their bathroom floor, or, you know, changes a few windows, we don't have a process to report that to.
Okay,
the building.
and people should know that.
And so there is no statutory requirement to inspect within any kind of a time frame. The appraisal has to be done every 5 years. We know that. And it's been quite a while. Many towns do a cyclical inspection where we'll go in and look at 20 or 25% of the town on an annual basis and spread it out over time. The challenge here is that it's been quite a while already, and then adding another 4 or 5 years on top of that probably isn't going to be a very practical way to approach it. So we think that we would recommend completing an inspection of every property to the best of our ability.
In the one.
In
1 year.
1 year.
And- Oh, yeah, no,
And then with that, we will be completing a full revaluation of all properties, all the residential, condominium, and commercial properties, to make sure that we bring everybody up to a level of market value. Because those values have been changing quite a bit, and they all change at a little bit of a different rate too. So that will be the goal. The process will involve first us inspecting all of the properties, then complete, and about the same time, completing some investigation into rents of commercial properties and expenses so that we can try to do an income approach on any income producing properties. Look at carefully special purpose properties, especially the mountain and any of the taxable parts of the mountain. And finally, we'll complete the valuations, send out a valuation notice to all of the taxpayers, and give them an opportunity to come and talk with us, either on the phone or in person, to help understand the process and the outcome of the appraisal for them. That informal hearing process is an important part of the entire valuation of the community. And that's really what we would recommend as the the appropriate level of service for Waterville Valley, given where you are in the life cycle of your value information right now. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
What you just described is probably the most expensive of all possible assessments, right? Where you go to every single property and follow the process you just described.
Right, so from a valuation standpoint, it's a little different than what you went through the last time. But it's the heavy loading of inspections, which will be different.
Mhm, mhm. Well, it
And-
kind of sounds to me like it's time.
Yeah, it does, but does this also provide us with a cost savings, theoretical cost savings over the next couple of years on the basic service? Because we've done so much in this 1 year,
I
or
think,
not?
so the basic services is about making sure that the basic reports are filled out, that the properties that have had building permits pulled get inspected. So it's
It's not
more
appreciable.
So it's, yeah, okay.
routine, so
It's
there's
not
really no big
All right.
impact on it.
The other thing that I think that we need to pay attention to is, I think, and you've probably, based on your experience, have budgeted a lot of time for formal abatement hearings. Because the informational hearings will go so far, because I've been through this process for many, many times in many
Mhm.
places. But I think in our town, because of the uniqueness, and I think with what people are going to see as their values coming up, there's going to be a lot of people going, what do you mean? You know, it's going to be a shock to a lot of people at what their properties are worth
Yeah.
and what their new tax bills are going to be. And it's just, so, you
So.
know, have you budgeted that in to your
So
proposal?
that will be part of the proposal. There will be some cost which is included there.
Right,
So all of the local formal abatements that get filed will get reviewed, and a recommendation in writing will be
right, but
provided
the ones
to
that go
you.
beyond that.
If it goes beyond that, then there may be additional charges,
Right.
depending on the property, the complexity, and the amount of time that it takes to defend those values.
It's also true that getting a higher property value doesn't necessarily translate into more taxes. For
Absolutely.
the simple reason that now the entire
Right,
community's property has gone up. So,
Yeah.
you know, as you look at what the tax rate may actually
go down.
go down.
You know that, I know that,
Yeah.
but send somebody the new value in their house. They're not, they haven't taken
Well-
10 seconds to breathe and
Right.
figure that out.
Well, and
Well, that's
And-
something we might want to explain.
well,
They
and
do.
we do. And
They
we
do
take a
as
lot of
well.
time
Yeah.
with that explanation. And the letter that we send out notifying them of the value, will be careful to say, hey, this is gonna have a different tax rate. We don't know what the outcome will be now, but if things maintain the current trajectory,
Mhm.
there's gonna be a significant increase in value overall. And having set the tax rate for the town of Waterville Valley in my past, and every other community in the state, it is just what gets spent here divided by the locally assessed value. And when that value goes up, then the rate goes down.
And our rate is not bad as far as the
No.
New Hampshire property tax rates go.
And to address
Not at all.
Mike's question, we actually found back in 2006, because of the informal hearings and the fact that sometimes values are changed as a result of those informal, that our number of abatements was actually very low.
Right, because of
Because
that
people
process.
had already had their opportunity to talk
Right now,
to the assessor.
will you be able to do informal abatements by Zoom or by?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, our
sure.
population, we have a tremendous amount of people that aren't here.
Yeah.
That if we list the days of the informal abatement
Mhm.
meetings, you know, I can't make it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's a very good, strong thing
Right,
to know.
and so what we do is we encourage people to schedule an appointment. And
Yeah.
we set up schedule sheets for the number of people who will be here.
Perfect.
And based on the number of people who call in and request a hearing, I mean, I'll give you an example. In Molten Borough, we had hearings this year for about a 10 or 11% increase in value in 1 year for all of the properties. And that's about 7,500 of some of the most expensive properties in the state. And we had set up to do those hearings, 2 people a day for an entire week. And it turned out that we didn't have nearly that demand because we've been doing it for a number of years and we've refined our technique of those hearings. But I can say that the number of formal abatements that get filed is very low. And the number of appeals that go on to either the Superior Court or to the Board of Tax and Land Appeals is almost non-existent. When, like we do, you focus on those hearings and making sure that you actually hear the people who come in and appropriately adjust when it's necessary.
So are you okay with budgeting for a complete reval 1
Well,
year?
we don't know how much it is.
Well, no, but for us to prepare the proposal
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
for
I
a
am,
Yeah,
full measure and list.
right.
Okay.
Very good, yeah.
yeah. I think your credentials will help us out quite a bit, knowing all sides.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it doesn't win the day.
No, but
But-
it just makes it easier from some past experiences we've had.
You know, we approach this importantly. It's taxes, it's tax assessing, but really it's a retail kind of business, and you know, and we're very service oriented. We want to make sure that people have the opportunity to be heard and to point out to us how we might be wrong, because as my wife would tell you, I'm wrong all the time. So I'm used to that.
I'm glad you didn't open with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Great.
All right. Well,
Thank
thank you, Steve.
thank you so much,
Thank
Steve.
you.
for
Thank you
coming.
all.
Yeah,
Look
Talk to
forward
you
to
soon.
hearing from you later, yeah.
let's do our department head reports.
You want to start, Dave?
Sure. I can start. Going back to about 30 minutes ago, we just put one of the new radar signs up and replaced the old one at the intersection. Needs a little bit of tweaking as far as the programming side of it, but overall it's working how we expected, but so check it out.
So this one's a little different. It has a speed, indicate your speed, and then has a message
Yep,
to you.
it has a message underneath. It's
Underneath.
a lot
Yeah.
brighter. It's colorful. It's got 3 different colors on it.
What do you mean by colorful?
Or
Siren.
colorful.
Green if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, yellow if you're slightly above.
Close,
and
but
red
not
if
right,
you're
right,
way
right.
past.
And
what you're
it's,
supposed
as
to
I
do.
found out from a chief yesterday, was it yesterday? You have to be able to lock those messages, right?
Yes.
People can't figure out how to
change them.
change the messages.
So more colorful.
To more,
So what's the message then?
If you're doing the speed limit, it says thank you.
Mhm,
If you're within 5 above, it says warning.
mhm.
And past that, it says slow down.
All right,
Uh,
sounds reasonable.
pretty generic.
Yeah.
There is a way where
Hey,
we can
pal.
program it, but I gotta talk to the manufacturer where we can actually set times for school during the school week. Where the message will actually change and say caution school.
Yeah,
great.
Ed or something like that, so, but we'll get into that a little later.
And the other one is going to be located in the outbound lane where?
So just as you cross the bridge of Valley Road and just past the entrance to the wedding gazebo,
Mhm.
where the guardrail starts again,
Yeah.
we want to put it right behind that guardrail, right after it begins. So that way you're getting people slowing down just before the athletic club, just before that crosswalk, and approaching the school coming from the other direction.
And that's a
So-
permanent one as well.
It is. They are movable, but since
It's down to be like the
since we
trailer.
have the trailer,
Yeah.
we use the trailer where we can
Yeah.
move that one around.
Yeah, these will be semi-permanent. They'll have a post and they'll be secured to the post.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
just finishing up post testing this week. Last Wednesday, we had our department training with pumping. Very well attended, good training, even though it was in the rain. We still fight fires in the rain. Assisted with Run for the Fallen, very honored to be able to assist with that. That was a great event, very good feedback from that, and look forward if they make the opportunity to come back. Certainly would look forward to that. Be attending a meeting with Lakes Region tonight at 7 o'clock to kind of get a feeling of, as a fire chief now, I'm on the board of directors, so this will be my first meeting in attendance, so kind of get a feel of what the status is of our dispatch center there and what the state, what they know for their plans. So I'll report back what I hear once I meet with them. Most of our members just getting wrapped up with preparing for their CDL. There's a handful of us that don't have a CDL. Everyone's pretty much gotten their medical cards and passed the written test. There's a few of us that haven't, but we're planning on, and I think Jim, we grabbed a couple of your guys too. We're actually going to have the road test here. We're going to hire a couple of the truck troopers to come here and actually give us the test, and actually have to go to Twin Mountain to do it. So that'll be on we're looking at November to get that done by the time everyone's done for that. But that'll be on like a Saturday. Pick a parking lot space, and we'll end up doing that and taking the test.
Are you coordinating at all with the mountain in terms of they may have some people who are going through CDL licensing as well?
I have not, only because we've got a pretty big crew. I think were we at 12?
12, and the reason we have to do it is because, so now we have to have a CDL to drive the fire trucks,
It's a new
which they've
requirement.
changed.
Oh,
So we're gonna
I
be using
gotcha.
the fire truck to do it, not
Mhm.
any other vehicles. And they're
Gotcha.
gonna be using the trash truck for their two employees.
Okay.
Because you have, when you do your CDL now, it has to be what you're gonna drive.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
After this year, because of COVID, it was supposed to go into effect last year, but if you're gonna get your CDL, you had to go to trucker school,
Mhm.
like at the tech, at the
Yeah.
tune of $3,500 plus dollars to get your CDL to go through trucker school. So we're taking advantage of this opportunity of the old system and getting us all done, so we don't have to send people to trucker school.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan.
Yep. And other than that, just working with the schools doing fire drills, inspections. It's inspection season, so we've been lining up a number of inspections for all the multi-occupancy buildings in town, so. That's what we're up to, Pat. Did I miss anything?
no.
He sent out the message, the telephone.
Yeah. It's so starting on October 24th. You have to use 603 now to dial any phone out. So it started in April, but they allowed it till October 24th. So I put something on Facebook today that simply says, as of October 24th, if you dial 236, it's not going to go out. You have to dial 603-236.
Reprogram all your phones.
Yep. So I sent it out as just a reminder to all residents to remember that.
Speaking of phones, someone told me they called and left a message for you and it came up Chris on the voicemail. So
I've been through my voicemail box 4 different times because people have said that, and every time I play the message back, it's me. So I don't know where they're getting into voicemail land, how that's happening.
Check with Chris.
I'll look again.
maybe it's an old number that's out there somewhere that we should let people know that they shouldn't be using.
I got rid of our cell phone number off of our website. Because we have 2 cell phone numbers, so
Yeah.
you'll see on our town website, there's no cell phone number anymore. It's better to call dispatch because they can always reach us, so there's just a couple of different, too many ways to reach us sometimes, so I tried to streamline it to get us even easier.
Yeah, it's creating confusion if they're in one car and someone's calling the other car and the car's parked here.
Isn't there a duty cell phone?
We have 2 now.
There's 2, there's one for each cruiser,
So
that's what you're
usually there's
saying.
not 2 more. Noise this weekend again, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it's wedding parties. And we had 4 weddings last weekend, so from here on out, just a heads up, we have about 4 every weekend, 3 to 4, and I heard unofficially hockey starts October 1. And I won't say names, but we have 2 very qualified candidates that have shown interest in our spots.
Right. I also spoke to 2 town merchants about creating places for wedding groups to gather before and after weddings.
Mhm.
And explain that the town would be very happy to, see this happen. So they're both, let's see if anyone acts on it, but I also said it's a win for you guys because the staff that you would put on would probably do better than any staff anywhere because you're gonna be grateful people
Mhm.
and on vacation, so
Mhm.
we'll see.
That's it for me.
Okay. Brooke?
Playground update is we've been hearing from Mark Gallagher this week. Tyler, keep checking in with him. He's our representative from New England Recreation Group. And right now, their plan was to do it this week and they're looking for a Bobcat and, it's just excuse after excuse of why they're getting delayed.
Have we paid them?
A deposit.
Yeah,
I would negotiate the final payment because I've had a lot of complaints about that.
yeah.
Yeah, we're coming up on 3 months overdue. So, well, 2.
2 months.
2
Yeah.
months.
I mean, yes, it's, I'm hoping that he can finish his project before there's snow on the ground. So, but he did say that he was gonna be able to do it, they were gonna be able to do it this week, but then we got a message about not being able to locate a Bobcat, so.
Couldn't find one from one of the guys up here that might have a Bobcat they could use.
If there's something you want me to do, or we'll talk about it, okay. The Skyline brochures have come in and they've been distributed throughout the valley. We're now working on distributing them to other people that are interested, like the visit the White Mountain Center that we're a member of, the attractions up in Lincoln and other places. To try to get the word out. We've gotten some good feedback and some people writing into us, excited about doing it, so that's great. The flower barrels that you had brought up on the last meeting, Rich, we did get some mums and we planted them in there. However, when I went to go check it out, I noticed that we somehow acquired 2 extra barrels that, so I don't know where those came from, but we planted them anyway. So those are the ones I think that you were concerned about.
That had trash in them.
Yeah, because the other ones had filled with flowers.
Yeah, no, they were extra. I hadn't seen them before and I just noticed they were filled with trash, but now they're filled with flowers.
So we just bought more
So-
mums and just planted those 2. So
Yeah, no, it looks very nice.
Yeah.
It looks
so
wonderful
I just
for
wanna let you
the
know that that's the
fall,
reason why they
run for
had
the fall.
trash in them is because there were 2 new ones that I didn't even know we had.
Yeah.
So,
Not a problem. It was fixed.
all foliage race is up to about 80 people. And that's between the fun run and the 5K. We decided to start with a 100-person cap like we did last year, just because we didn't know how everything would evolve this fall. And so I guess I'm looking for direction on if we want to open it up to whomever. I mean, typically our numbers don't get much beyond 150 to 200 in the 5K. So
Go for it.
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
it's outside and
yeah.
all right, great.
Yeah.
And then we're just planning our Columbus Day weekend activities. We are going to be offering basketball, indoor basketball and indoor pickleball and indoor bear factory. Spread out. We're not going to be going into open gym, but we're hoping to offer those indoor programs with your blessing.
And you're still looking for people to help with after school.
Yes, we are stretched pretty thin right now. So we are looking for people. We haven't gotten a lot of interest. We did have one parent inquire. But we really need some part-time help. So, I mean, everything's working, but if there's an illness or something, happens, it's kind of like, it's tough to make ends meet. And everyone's, working programs, and Tyler's coming in at 6 in the morning on Wednesdays to do cycling and leaving early, and then on the days he has after-school programs, doing those. Sandra's Monday through Friday with after school. And then of course we have the Saturday program, so it's we're definitely working it so we can all cover the bases.
I saw a large group of children cycling through the neighborhood this morning. Was that rec department or
was
school?
PE.
That was beautiful.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay,
We're
okay,
learning the rules of the road.
yeah,
We
okay.
are doing a mountain biking club on Tuesdays and Thursdays though, so you would see them with Tyler after school.
Okay, okay. All righty. Dylan, you want to make the big announcement that we're going to take down the water restrictions?
Do you want to get into that now? Or would you like to-
Yes.
So, as of last Thursday, state updated us that we're finally out of the drought. Besides, I think the very far northern
Very
section.
far north.
Yeah, like Pittsburgh area.
Mhm.
But we're gonna, as long as you guys are all in agreement, I would recommend that we remove the water ban for the foreseeable future anyways, unless there's a big change, but we're getting into the fall and winter where typically we don't have any issues, and I don't know if Mark shared that graph with you, do you?
No, not yet. I mean, we've just been looking at a graph over time for a couple of months period. While we did see kind of a normal drop off in precipitation and in the level of our tanks. This is a level 266 2/3 feet, right? Or inches.
That graph is actually not in relation, that's in GPM.
GPM,
pumps. Yeah.
okay, GPM in pumps. But the recovery of the well, as you can see, it drops off. And this is the summer period. So every time the well pumps, the water level drops,
Mhm.
okay? Whereas here in September, over the last couple of weeks, even when the pump is running, that water level stays up.
Okay.
And that's a normal thing that we see. But it definitely has recovered from the lows over the summertime. And when we look back at 2020, it had not recovered to the level that it is now recovering back to.
Okay.
So it's the normal summer slow period. But the recovery has been better than we've seen it over the last year and a half.
So do we need a motion?
Could I just ask
Yeah,
a quick
yeah.
question?
Yeah.
And how about water usage?
Water usage is, we're still up from 2019 year to date. 2020 is, I always look at that as an outlier.
Right.
We compare them, but we're up.
Yeah, just throw it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I put the numbers in and where the numbers are better than they were comparatively in 2020. So the percentage that we're down, and they actually improved from the end of June when we last reported them. So the water use seems to be leveling
Right.
off. It's
It's
not
more-
as drastic as it's been in the past.
More consistent with
More
a
consistent.
population that's staying here.
Right, that's what I was
Yes.
wondering is this gonna be the normal
We're
water
thinking
usage
that it's gonna,
level?
yes,
And the other thing to keep in mind as well is in 2019, we didn't have a water ban. And the
Right.
levels, the water usage is still higher now with a water ban in effect, until
Mm.
today.
and with us going around telling people not to irrigate and that
So-
sort of.
Right,
That's with us cracking down on people not irrigating, so. I think it was 200,000 gallons higher or so.
Yeah.
Year to date, so.
Any other questions? No?
good.
So do you need a motion for us to lift,
Yes,
what is it, the level 4?
water use restrictions, yeah, you're gonna lift the water use
How about
Okay,
if
restrictions.
you make a motion that you can use all the water you want?
Well, I don't know if we want to.
No, we're gonna make a motion to lift the water use restrictions that are currently in place. So please feel free to wash your cars, water your lawns,
I
all
will
that
second
kind of
that
thing.
motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. What else, Dylan?
Operations have been good. We haven't had any equipment issues. We started pumping sludge from sludge holding pond over to the drying area last week. So if you hear any complaints from anybody, that's the odor that they're smelling. We should be done probably mid next week, I would think. So other than that, I don't have much. We do have another agenda item. We can go over now if you'd like. It's up to you
They
guys.
basically truck the sludge away. Is that what they
So-
do?
What we do is we pump it out onto that bed and it dries, it freeze dries over the winter.
Mhm.
So it just basically evaporates all the moisture out, and then as the cold air comes in, it forces some moisture out of the sludge. Then the following year, we scrape it off, put it into a 18-wheeler, and then they bring it and blend it with other municipality sludge to
Okay,
get rid of it.
all right. All right, so your other item on the agenda, the
well, it's under-
wastewater treatment plant?
Yeah, it's under old business.
Mhm.
So when that turtle was stuck in the lagoon line,
Yeah.
when we opened the pipe up, that was when we realized how bad the condition of that line that comes out of the second lagoon into the facility is. So what we would like to do is cut out the section of steel pipe at the wall inside the facility. And we're gonna replace all that with plastic and put a clean out on it with an access port to it. So that way we can camera the line or clean the line in the future. So that way we don't have to cut the pipe again if we have another turtle stuck in it or anything else stuck in it. And while we're doing that, we discussed with the engineers, we're gonna put in another static mixer. I don't know if you guys recall. We put a static mixer in place that helped reduce chlorine usage during breakpoint chlorination. I cut it down significantly. So we'd like to put another one in to reduce our coagulant usage and the clarifiers, which ideally, if it saves us money on chemicals, it's, saves thousands in chemicals. I think it's $800 or so for the static mixer. So over the next few years, it'll definitely have cost savings. But other than that, it's really the gist of what we have going on there right now.
And what's
Is
the
the
total
is the
cost?
mixer something that can be used in the new plant potentially? Or it's not?
Not really,
Mhm.
just because it's of the length, it's a fixed length, and it has fins on the inside of it,
Mhm.
so it's fitting it into an application, it's not like you can cut it and.
So
cut the size.
this is under the heading of keeping our current plan operating as best as
And
possible,
and
so the
reducing
new one
costs.
comes
And
online.
reducing,
And
Reducing
reducing-
costs.
So it's gonna
reducing
pay for
costs.
itself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
I think the whole project cost for them to, because they have to move a flow meter as well, that measures the flow coming from the lagoon into the facility. I think the cost is $7,000 for them to do all the pipe over, install the static mixer, move the ultrasonic meter, and then put in a couple valves and then go back online with it.
Mhm.
So even that cost associated with it, the polyaluminum chloride that we use, that's the coagulant.
Over several years, we'll still be using the plant. We will save.
Yeah.
But still, we gotta fix the pipe anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, we have
So
to.
might as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of just a package deal, but it's
Yeah.
gonna have costs.
And it's in the budget already.
so if you're, it
I-
is in the.
I don't have a problem with it.
Right,
You're
Good.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay.
That takes care of 8C.
Jim,
Yes,
I
What
did
the
a
hell are they
drive-by
doing over there?
inspection
you did a drive-by inspection?
of the Clubhouse Road, which
Yes.
still isn't paved at this point.
No,
Right.
Why do they put the liner in? What's the liner for? why
we've
so-
done, I've had, every time we've fixed the road in town,
Yeah,
because we get down below the gravels, if you will, and the subsurface is really not great material. I have them put a road fabric down, and what that does is that that keeps the good gravel separated from the bad stuff and allows for a better road. So it's something they didn't have in the old days, but they have it now. It's fairly cheap to apply. And we've done it on every section of road that we fixed like that so far, and it's held up well.
is this thing still coming in on budget? Because they've been there quite a while.
Yes, it's a lump sum price.
Okay,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no
The-
time issue.
The target date for pavement is the end of the month,
Which month?
this month,
Mhm.
because you really can't pave up here
Yeah.
much past mid-October. So that was part of the RFP, so hopefully, between weather and help, everybody's in the same boat. So things do run behind, plus materials run behind too. The availability of things like the fabric, if you will.
Mhm.
So, but they're moving along, and once they get going and get in rhythm, it should be hopefully completed by the end of the month.
Okay, what else is happening?
Not much. I just want to say that we had our marching orders last week to get the town looking good for the weekend festivities, the Run for the Fallen, and I'd just like a shout out to the crew that I think they did a pretty good job.
Did a great job.
They did a great job.
Remember that year end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still some graffiti in one of the underpasses.
Yeah.
Get a chance to take care of it.
Okay,
They look really nice. The town looked really nice.
yeah, and they definitely want to come back.
They
And we
are
told them they could, right?
scheduled. Yeah,
Right.
they are
Good.
scheduled.
Yep. They thought it was
When
gonna
will-
have to be a vote of the selectmen, and I said, well, if that's the case, we'll certainly support that because we love having you in town, so. Okay, calendar review, tax rates setting, special meeting week of October 4th.
Yeah, that's what I'm anticipating. We have turned in, we have not heard anything back from DRA yet. But we have been starting to bug them. We'd like to get the draft rate to you so you can have a meeting that week. And just want to make sure everybody was going to be in town.
I have things on the 6th and the 7th.
Okay, so Mike knows 6 and 7. Everybody else okay?
I mean, I've got things here and there. It just depends on the time
Right.
of day. But
We can
I'm
adjust
here
the
all
time
week.
and day.
Yeah,
But
I'm here all week.
I'm
Yeah.
here.
okay,
And I can probably do an early evening if we need to.
yeah,
But, I just have,
yeah. No, that's okay.
This is like
I
a
just-
half-hour meeting.
Yeah,
at
half
most.
hour,
It's
just,
not
and I'll provide you with the rate and everything
Yeah.
ahead of time.
a-
And
Mhm.
so it would be a question and answer thing. And
Okay,
it's gonna be primarily setting the overlay, the overlay, and whether or not you want to use fund balance to adjust anything.
Okay.
But let's see where the rate comes
Okay.
in at first.
And our next regular meeting is October 13th,
Mhm.
and planning board has a special meeting tomorrow at 8 o'clock here.
They do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then their next meeting is the 14th.
Yeah.
After
Okay.
that.
Okay. Sean Ward had a request into us about winter lights.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not here. I guess he's gonna go to the planning board. I mean, he's planning to go
Mhm.
to the planning board
The,
on the October
the October
14th
14th
meeting.
meeting.
If he wanted to, do you want to talk to him prior to him going to the planning board? Because I know one of the first questions the planning board's going to ask is, do you have permission from the landowners to use the land?
Mhm.
So we could potentially have that October 4th week, that meeting for the tax rate, be a discussion with him if you wanted.
What's he planning to do?
Same
What
as
he did
last
last year?
Winter lights.
Same as
excuse
last
me,
year.
I would like to see a proposal from him.
That's
Because the plan we got last year was hilly-nilly and willy-nilly, and it was really, we kind of
Mhm.
approved it from the rear view mirror. Is he going to be charging? Is he going to do this? Are there vendors
Right.
going to be there?
right.
Is it going to be anything other than the lights he, if he's going to do the lights the way he did it last year with no charges in the same places he wanted, that's fine. But he's talking about the geodomes
Right.
and all this other stuff.
Right.
If he's going there.
If
And if he's going to charge or
That's
have
right.
vendors or the
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah, so we need,
And I
that's
think there should
exactly
be,
the point
yeah.
of him coming in
Yeah.
so that he can hear that. And
Mhm.
but I think you can convey that to him, that he also has to notify the abutters if he's going to create in.
well, he'll have to do that as part of the planning board because it'll be a site plan.
Yeah, I just don't want to come at this thing the way we had to last year where half.
Right,
the
it was
lights
after the
were-
was
fact.
kind of-
They'd already
yeah.
started actually.
Yeah, Yeah.
So we're gonna have him come in, the week of the fourth, whenever we meet
Well,
for
that's.
Put it this way, it's not, we're not even close to the season he's gonna put it up yet. You know, so I don't see.
Maybe he wants to
I don't see-
earlier.
I don't see, giving up time on the fourth where we can have a 10-minute meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll have him do it the October 13th.
13th meeting?
And he can always submit stuff to
Right.
us through you before that.
Before,
Right,
okay,
Okay,
but basically convey that we'd like to
Okay.
see what the
Yeah.
total
Mhm.
plan is and, with the parts affecting the town property highlighted.
and then he'll have the advantage of bringing that to the planning.
to
board.
the planning board the
board.
next day,
The next
you do
day.
a conceptual.
We presume if we make a decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. That's everything on the agenda, but you had some other things, correspondence about accepting the federal
yeah, so
funds.
we need to hold
Our
a
23,000.
Yeah, we
Our
need to,
23,000.
well, actually, it's 12.5.
Oh,
Because it's only
12.5,
half
okay.
this year,
Okay,
but we do have to hold a public
Out of how many
hearing.
trillion is that? We get
How-
12.5
Yeah, out of 3.5 trillion.
because
Is it-
we only
No,
have
out of
200
2
people.
out of 2 trillion, yeah.
Do they have a
So
decimal point that goes that far?
You should have seen the decimal. I mean, literally, it was like 10 places before a number showed up. So, so we do
Well,
have to
Hart's
hold a
location is
public,
getting more than us.
Probably everybody gets more.
we do have to hold a public hearing.
Mhm,
So I can put it on the October 13th
okay,
meeting, if that's okay with you.
and we'll know what the exact amount is.
We know
by
what the
then.
exact amount is,
Okay.
and we already have identified expenses that we can
Right against it.
attribute it to.
Right,
Okay,
It's not a huge issue, but I wanted to make sure we did that.
board concerns and directives. I have a question on the sidewalk that we had to disrupt when we had the problem up there with the water pipe
Mhm.
up on Valley Road that's now stone instead of paved. Is that ever going to get paved?
Same time the golf course
Okay,
clubhouse intersection.
they're going to come in and do that as
That's the
well.
first opportunity I've had to,
Yeah.
get 4 or 5 tons of asphalt.
Right, great, thank you. Anything else? Anyone? Okay, correspondence, any other correspondence, Mark?
No.
Okay, so we do need to go into non-public. Thank you all for attending. And can I have a motion to go into non-public at
Less than an hour ago.
3:57?
I so move.
Can I have a second?
I will second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Sure.
My car tells me